official welcome. Since we just started recording, I'm Shweta. I'm a coach myself, and I have with me today Bhavani, who's also a PCC coach. And of course, we have our amazing mentors, Mr. Subash CV and Mr. PK Narayanan. Today's conversation is not so much about them. Don't worry. It's more about us. So yeah, we're going to be talking about mindset and the fear that accompanies. Like I said, even before starting this call, I had started getting little butterflies in my stomach. I was having a chat with Bhavani on that. So, Bhavani, would you like to introduce yourself, please, to our audience today?
Okay, thank you, Shweta. And so, as Shweta said, I'm a PCC coach. I've done my kind of coach training with Regal. What would I say? So right now, I'm a coach in experimental phase. I would say I'm a coach who's trying to do something, create something for herself after a 25-year corporate stint. So when you transition, I think I'm in that experimental phase. So I would like to say that about me. I'm also the less experimental phase of my life is parenting 5 children, parenting 5 dogs, and still learning on how to be a great grandmother to my 5-year-old granddaughter.
Oh,
But so that's my other side of less, I would say less experiment, but definitely transitioning from corporate to this entrepreneurship journey. I would call myself an experimenting coach.
wow. I think that's really humble of you, Bhavani, with everything that you are doing, because I kind of read, and that's why I said, I think it's better that you introduce yourself. Uh, and we're all, I think, because as we will talk to Subash and PK by the end of this conversation, I have had the honor of interacting with them, and so have you. So we all know we are all learning. Like Subash says, that you're never a master, right? And I have been in the world of facilitating for about 11 years, and then I'm a pretty new coach myself. So no corporate experience, but a lot of facilitative experience, and coaching feels like a really new space for me. So I think we're both at interesting points of the journey. You being like kind of a veteran.
Veteran or not, corporate veteran, definitely not a coaching veteran. So
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about that because today's conversation is about the fear that shows up when you're kind of shifting from one role to another, particularly if you've been like really, really successful in the corporate world. And a lot of our learner coaches are from that world. I'd like to invite you to start sharing with us. How was it when you kind of shifted from your corporate background to the world of coaching? And even though you're calling yourself an experimental coach, what did it feel like, or what were the emotions that showed up for you, like those butterflies in the stomach?
yeah. I think I want to take a moment to go back to the start of this journey because I think the seed got planted there and it just sat there, in hibernation. Because this is like in 2013, I discovered coaching, and in 2013, I wanted to give up corporate and be a coach. It became a reality almost nine years later. Because so for a long time, I slept on this idea. You kind of, when you have this idea and it's kind of itching, you think about it. It's in your dream. It's in your sleep. I came up with domain names. I bought domain names. I left it. I let it lie until it expired. But I never quite made it happen because fear got in the way at that time, right? Because what coaching did for me, I was living in the UK. Coaching helped me come to India. But after having come to India, I suddenly realized I knew nothing about this, this country, this amazing country. I had no friends, no connections, no nothing. And that's the fear. I could have stayed strong then, right? So for those of you who are thinking about it, I wish I did it then in 2013. Then I would be the senior coach in the industry, but I didn't. I went to corporate, and I believe everything happens for a reason, right? So I met people, I found my connections. Then then that itch came up again. After 8 years of corporate life, that itch came up again, saying like, what are you going to do about this? Right? It's still sitting there as a dream that started long ago. And I think this time, I always ask myself, what would it take for me to transition? Like, what is that thing? We say fear, right? We say fear is a very big word. What are the ingredients that are missing that, so I ask myself, if suddenly, a pot of money landed on my desk, would I quit and become a coach? Okay, if the answer is no, then it's not money. Then it's not that cushion that we always say. I think we all have to have a bit of cushion when we're
Yeah.
transitioning from a a stable set of income coming in, and first of the month it's there. All your bills get paid. If you're transitioning from there, money is a comfort factor, and if you don't have that cushion for X number of months, then it is difficult. You will be riddled with fear. So then I asked myself, okay, what is that pot?
Mm.
Is it 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs? That what do I need to have put aside in order for me to courageously embrace this journey?
Wow.
Okay. If you don't have a number, then what are you? Then it's just it's an idea. It's a fear that's floating and taking new shapes, like a demon that's keeps changing shapes, a tail that never ends because you haven't given yourself that target. So
Yeah.
then I had a number. So I told myself, I told a friend even, if I had 30 lakhs, I would quit. Then I said, okay. And then, so then all the savings, the corporate bonuses you put aside here and then 30 lakhs happened and you still didn't quit. Then it's like, okay, then that's not it. That's not it. It's something else. Then I said, okay, maybe I don't have confidence in myself. So, and I think a lot of us would put money in the mutual fund and have more faith in that mutual fund giving you returns of investment of 12, 15%, and not have faith in investing it in ourselves in this journey of believing that you can bring more value than that mutual fund return.
Yeah.
So I asked myself, am I really, and it's not going to come. A mutual fund will give you returns in the first year and in the second year, and it evens out after 5 years. Investing in our corporate in this entrepreneurship journey will give you nil returns in the first year,
Yeah.
negative returns in the first year. But by the third year or fourth year, you are making far more. No mutual fund can ever give you that kind of return, right? So that faith, that abundance mindset is what I think we really need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
believe. Because
Agreed.
otherwise, then the bigger question mark is why are we lacking confidence in ourselves?
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think it's a bigger question, the way you put it, that we need to ask ourselves, why do we really not have confidence in ourselves? And we have confidence in banks, which we don't even know. Like, really, how many of us actually, unless we are in finances, want to literally look at what amount is coming in? Something's coming in, you know? So yes, I agree that that comfort level of the money, and a great question that I ask myself a lot of times when I'm not willing to, because like you were sharing with me when we were chatting, that you have invested a lot in yourself. I've invested a lot in my own learning and credentialing and, kind of just growing. And a lot of times it's not even visible. That's another thing, the way you said, that maybe it's negative, maybe it's neutral, maybe it's not there. And what would it take for me to trust myself so much if money was not the issue? What would it take for me to have that kind of faith in myself that I know I'm creating a greater future?
Hmm.
So you did talk about the unwillingness to invest in oneself. And as a
Hmm.
coach, I'm sure you've interacted with a lot of leaders, with a lot of other people as well.
Hmm.
What do you think, even coaches, when we do these peer-to-peer sessions, what do you think could be the result of not trusting yourself? Like, how far can it be detrimental? Because even that's not visible, right?
Oh, that is significant. I mean, the number of leaders I have come across who wait for the company to invest in them and not in themselves is because they believe that if the company invests in you, the company is gonna make that return. They're gonna wait for that return to come to the company. But what is your balance sheet looking like? So I always think of this as if I am my business, which I am, then
Mhm.
and I have a balance sheet, then I'm the only asset on that balance sheet.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
maybe if my brand grows, then at some day my brand can also be an asset. But right now it's not grown the way I'm the asset. It's me, my how I speak, how I say the things I do. If I don't have an AMC plan for me, then what viability has this business got?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Basic business, business language. So and that's how I, even when I work with leaders or even with younger professionals, I ask them this question. And it has to be strategic, right? Your invest You can't chase after everything. Every contract every investment you make in yourself must have time to give you returns on investment. So you can't be, because I see people with this alphabet soup of certificates, comma, comma, comma. And when you not everybody has the gravitas to show what that all those letters mean. that means something else is missing. It's confidence in self.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can't go chasing after lots and lots of things, but what you do have, you need to make the best of it. And it's not about another qualification, it's about application of what you already have. And so for me, I think I just want to answer one more question, one more angle to this question that you said, right? I think for me, the biggest move, going back to 2013, I took a 10-month sabbatical to try and make this happen, and I still didn't do it. Okay, so time wasn't an issue either. Let me make it very clear. At that point, 2013, I had 10 months to do whatever I liked, and I still couldn't make it a success. So I think one of the things we need to be asking ourselves is like a process of elimination. What element, what resource factor are we waiting for to make this move a possibility? We think it's
Wow.
money. Then if
Yeah.
you really, and if I came and put that pot of money and say it's yours, would you really? The answer is a heartfelt no. Then if it was time, if your company said you could take 10 months off, no questions
Yeah.
asked, would you do it and make this move? And if the answer is no, then it's not time. So
Yeah.
then you realize actually
It's
it's
something else.
it's confidence in self. It's just this somewhere that believe that it's not going to work out. I'm going to fail or something like that. And I think I spoke when we had the last webinar. I talked about this abundance. The world is so big. And if you hold on to the belief that your client doesn't know they need you yet, and
Yeah.
that you have the power to cultivate that market,
Yeah.
then imagine how big the possibilities are.
Absolutely. And again, I think for me it is that um that vision of the future that the mind does not allow you to see if you're not trusting yourself or if you don't have confidence, because the mind's job is to protect you. So it's only going to tell you, don't do it, like that little demon that you said, it's always at the back changing shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about the fear showing up every day in spite of the fact that you are so far ahead where you are. And I'd really like to put this question up for Subash and PK as well, that you beautifully said that you literally wake up and you have to be in the mindset, you have to put yourself in the mindset of um, no, I'm just going to commit to myself and I will not give in to this demon's voice. I will not
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. And literally, it's like, how Elizabeth Gilbert in that, I don't know if you've read her book, Big Magic, and she talks about fear. And she says, fear is going to be with you all the time. You
Yes.
might as well accept it, make it your companion. And I like to add dance with it, literally.
Yes.
But don't
Yes.
let it drive. The fear is not allowed to touch the roadmap. It's not even allowed to touch the radio or choose the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does fear still show up for you wherever you are, and how do you tackle it, or what are the resources that, even, going back to Coaching Unlimited,
Mm.
when you attended it, if you look back, what
Mm.
helped you shift into this committed mindset of what you're talking about today? Yeah, it's going to show up every day. Now, how do you tackle it?
Okay. Thank you. That was a lot of questions I need to
I
answer, but
know.
no, but perfectly asked. So let me start with my everyday question is reverse an option?
How do you mean?
Can I go back to the way things were? Like, can I go back to corporate?
Super.
Okay, and every time, and I literally ask myself, if I got an offer from A, B, C, whatever, would I say yes?
Mm.
And I have had offers and I've said no. So that means it's crystal clear that going back is not an option. Now, I think anyone who's at that cusp of deciding has to ask that question: is the future I've designed for myself so big, so compelling, that going back is not an option? And I give you something very recent. So I did 2 days, I had to go for a workshop at a client in Kormangla. And this particular client of mine I know, the second time they've come to me. 2 years ago, they came to me, and I do a workshop for half a day, for their leaders. And he lives not so far away, so he picks me up. And he picked me up last time. So he said, should I pick you up today? And this time as well. And he said, I'll see you at 7:15. I'm like, I have never even thought of 7:15 in 3 years. Like, I mean, or in a long time. It's been a year and a half since I've exited corporate. 7:15, leaving the house at 7:15 is not an option for me. I don't want to, you know. So that's an example of the kind of, I want to sleep. If I have a chance to sleep, I'll sleep till 8 o'clock because my clock says I haven't clocked 7 hours sleep yet. That's the option I've chosen, which means that if that is the lifestyle I want to create today, then going back to corporate is not an option. So whatever that future is. So, I was just telling Subash and PK earlier, I was able to go to Tiruvannamalai and do my Girivalam, which I do every month. Yesterday was a classic example of how you can go have a corporate. For those of you who are like thinking, I'm still in corporate, can I make time for, literally, if you can take half a day off every week with your 20 days, and if you say, 2026 is the year I'm committing to building my transition, for example, half a day, 20 days leave, or say 25 days leave, that's half a day every week for the year. There's so much, just giving, and so therefore there's no holiday, which is what entrepreneurship, you don't really have holiday in the beginning. You can do so much in half a day.
Yeah.
Concerted effort towards building something. So for me, the important question is your future wise big enough? And I think in Coaching Unlimited, a lot of that exploration, happened for me, because I came out of coaching, and I went into Coaching Unlimited in a lull. I told Subash, I really, really need this, because I am, I just gone part-time. I'd taken my 2-year part-time. By the way, the money thing, right? Learning to live on less is another thing. My salary halved overnight from what it was to what I was getting in April 22 when I went to see you. And I made this investment saying, I need a pick-me-up. I'm at that bottom, and so having gone there, having met people on the same journey, everybody's sharing, everybody's energizing each other, you kind of have that, like almost somebody's pulling you up from here, saying, okay, you've got this pickup. And so having come out of that, and then you have this 100-day plan, and people are like, okay, what's happening with your plan? Are you making progress? I registered the company. My organization, I registered it, just the month after I came out of CU. Like CU happened in April, May, June 23rd, if I remember correctly. So you take action. You have to take action after, and then it may not be perfect. Even after I registered, I was like, can I change the name? I still want to change the name, but it's okay. It exists. It has a GST certificate. I can get on board on corporate, clients. So it's that kind of thing. For me, I think CU helped me just make some key decision points. And if you could have a CU, like, I would love to have a CU type structure every day, like, where you can just turn up and somebody's there to bounce ideas off, and you're like, okay, I've got my 5-minute fix, and I'm off to take action. Right.
Wow. Cool.
But I think to a large extent, the network of coaches that we have, that you meet, who are all on the same journey, become that pick me up outside of the cycle. Like if you're going to a CU of 2 days, 3 days, after that, you meet with people who have already experienced the same thing you've done, and you can just have a 5-minute conversation and say, okay, I've got my fix.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That reminds me of the kind of lull that you're talking about, since I was shifting careers in a way, from facilitation to coaching. And You're so right. I love the pick me up kind of a thing. And I was just thinking of, I've just hired a coach in the gym, and till about a couple of months ago, I was like, I'm not going to give you so much money. For a whole month, you want membership and you want me to pay you. Till one day, I just walked into the gym. Till my daughter was there, she was guiding me, and I walked into the gym and I was lost. So that's the metaphor that's coming up for me. I've been like, oh my God, CU is like that space for you where now I know I've trained with this guy for 6 or 7 sessions and I know what I was missing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I wish you told me what I was missing. He said, would you have believed me? I said, no. So I think it's that little, I love to call it that line, that boundary, that Lakshman Rekha, where you take that leap of faith for yourself. Just, I went into CU just with a gut feel, because I would just finish my ACC class, and Subash was talking about CU. And I was like, are you going to be there? And he said, yeah, I'm going to be there. And I said, how many days? Residential. And it's also going to be talking. I didn't know PK at that point of time. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that was a loss because I didn't know how good it could be. And that 100 days of support and the kind of, I was fortunate enough to be the person who they kind of facilitated into kind of creating a niche. It was such a feeling of support, the way you say, not just with the mentors, but also with the whole gang that you kind of get so close together. So, and we're having a residential one after, after 2 rounds of non-residential. So I think it's a great opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
We also, since we're on the topic of niche, very quickly before we get into talking to Subash and PK, this commitment to yourself that you talked about, and getting up every day, shifting to that mindset of commitment, knowing that it's a future I'm creating, I'm my greatest asset. Um, there might still have been days for me. I know there are days when, or there are days, it's not just one day where you kind of go into, oh, I don't have enough leads, or not enough clients are coming in. I've done everything I could. Um, the doubt still shows up, sometimes. But I
Of
have my
course.
niche. I know where I'm heading. That aligned action is there that we were talking about earlier. What do you think? What do you think is an element there that you would like to share with our audience about what happens when you have come this far, you have your niche, you know where you're going, but still that doubt shows up. Still that, what happens?
Mm-hmm. So I would say it's doubt, and it's more than doubt. Okay, sometimes it's a reality. Not everything you plan for goes your way. Okay, and
Absolutely.
today is one of those lived realities for me, because um, a couple of weeks back I launched a group coaching program for my niche, first time, and I said I didn't have enough time to test the water. I said, Bhavani, just go ahead. What's the worst that can happen, right? What the worst that can happen is that no one turns up. But in the process of talking to people and sharing, you build connection, you build relationships, you get to know what people want and don't want. You know who's going to pay you X and who's not going to pay it, and all of that, right? So, am I a failure if the program doesn't go on? But I learned so much in the process. So who decides that, and for whom am I doing it?
I may just pause to remind the audience that this is such a beautiful example of shifting and redefining the mindset of failure and success. Please carry on, Bhavani.
So today, for example, I was doing my Girivalam yesterday, and one participant particularly wants to do this program, but he's one who's 100%. I've got two in the 50%, and I wanted 10. So I'm not having enough, and it's getting to a point where I have to decide: do I defer or not? Right. So
Mm-hmm.
so so this was one of those moments. What do you do? Right. So for me, initially the gut, your gut tells you something is wrong. That's the first. So fear shows up in that something is wrong. The
Yeah.
point is, if I give up now, who's lost? It's my loss, right?
Yeah.
It's never. So my point is now. So the question I told myself: what is this telling me? It's telling me something. Does the program have the fact that one person is so definite about the program means they're seeing value in it, and the fact that there are many who are interested, but the timing. I gave myself a 6-week lead. My learning point in this whole journey was, Bhavani, you do not know how to market a program. That was the learning, right?
Yeah.
Now, I would never have acknowledged that level of clarity until I actually tried it. And I realized that 6 weeks is not enough. The program, so do I say that I am not good, or the program's not good, or is it the fact that I haven't learned something yet? So I
Yeah.
was telling you the other day what I did. For example, I always believe that one-on-one messages always resonate with people, and that if you do bulk messaging, it just gets lost. So
Yeah.
because I made commitment to do this program, I forced myself to learn how to do one-on personalized messages on WhatsApp. So I found an app, I downloaded the app, I paid for it, and I learned how to do it. So now, in a press of a button, I can send 300, 500 messages with each person's first name properly curated with personalized content. To
Amazing.
one person, it's a follow up. To one person, it's an introduction mail. All that because I realized I need to learn.
Super.
Now, would that pull or that push to learn ever have come without that commitment?
Yeah,
And if
because it's about choice, Yes, the commitment is there, and you might still not make the choice,
yes, of course.
right?
My mindset is, Bhavani, you're on a learning journey, and so um, I'm creating a future that I want.
Yeah.
So I'm committed to that future. I have to make this work. It means I have to learn things I haven't learned.
Yeah.
And it means I have to put myself out there, and I define whether or not it's failure or success.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Nobody else can tell you that.
No, no. Who has got measurement points to tell me I failed? Who has
Correct.
got it?
No, but I'll tell you, there'll be enough people. So that also brings the point home that there will be a lot of people who will be telling you. Because I remember when I started my facilitator journey, and it involved a lot of money, investment, and to generate that, there was a lot of work that went in. And there were enough people around me to tell me that the kind of work that you're putting in is not measuring the outcome that you're getting. So, you know,
Hmm.
the point that you were making earlier when we were talking about, if you're looking at success not as creation, the way you're saying, of a greater future, of a new reality that's going to be my reality, that's going to be my future. Nobody else can see it. Even I can't see it yet, but I know it's there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
it's there, but there'll be people telling you that this is not the right choice to make. So,
Yeah.
along with commitment, I strongly believe that unless you make that choice, the way you said that, unless I had given myself that time, unless I had acknowledged that I need to learn, would it have shown up? So, along with commitment, that action, that choice. Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, no, no. I'm just acknowledging that it is a choice, and I think it goes back to the abundance mindset.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
and I also believe that if coaching is a very service oriented profession, and if you have to serve your niche, the people in that niche, you have to learn it's not good, not enough to be a coach,
Yeah,
right? You have to acknowledge what you don't know yet. And and that also allows me to reach out and say, okay, find somebody who's good at marketing, find somebody who's good at LinkedIn, navigate, or whatever I need to do, right?
absolutely.
I now have something I need to reach out for,
Absolutely.
because I've come up with my products, my niche, my service.
And to add to that, Bhavani, you know, that abundance mindset that you're talking about, we haven't really touched upon that very quickly. I want to say that that money thing that you were talking about, you know, I strongly believe in that abundance mindset of, if you make the choice, then the money will show up too, for sure.
For
You
sure.
know, we just don't know what we're asking for. So if I'm asking for, let's say, X thousands of rupees or X lakhs of rupees, lakh seems a little stretch right now because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we really start small, even in that abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, yeah, if every time I have wanted to invest in myself, and I've gone both ways. I will not lie. I've gone this side of fear. I've gone this side of let's do it, you know. But every time you go the let's do it, the support shows up, the money shows up, the time shows up. Your children
Yes.
will not trouble you. And your boss might also give you a leave, but the choice and the commitment has to be yours. Would you agree on that? Or any, would you like to add
100%. I think once you make the choice, it's
anything?
it's the law of manifestation. You have, they say sankalp, right? You have put the intent out there. The universe is going to conspire. But I want to bring in one more element, and this is my personal journey right now, which at some point maybe Subash and PK will bring into CU, or maybe it's already there, because I know from Subash, for example, the spirituality quotient, which
Yeah.
which exists as part of the regal framework, for example. For a long time I was like, I can do this, it's me, right? It's me. But now, and it all happens since I'll be not kidding you, it's today 30th October. It's been just 5 or 6 weeks when I've just gone to the zone of surrender, and I'm getting calls from people I didn't even know existed, because it's suddenly you're like, there's something that works in this magical way, that the moment you say, look, I am committed and I am putting it out there, right? And I am accepting anything that doesn't go my way as a learning moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you can combine your commitment with a surrender and a learning mindset, I mean, what can go wrong? This is
That's
my
beautifully summed up. Thank you for sharing that, Bhavani. Let's invite PK and Subhash now to talk about what it was like for them in terms of emotions. So, welcome back, Subhash and PK. Sorry, I said in the beginning it wasn't about you. Now we'll make it about you. Because we would love to know. You know, I've never personally asked you this question. You both, I know, shifted from a very successful corporate careers into coaching. And I heard a little of what it was like for you. But we'd like to invite you to share what were the emotions that were going on for you at that point of time? How was it?
I'll go first. It was definitely not easy. For me personally, 2 decades, last stint overseas, comfortable life, successful stint. I was pretty much on peak of my career. One, to leave the comfort of that was the first big decision. Second, we are moving back to India. That was second thing. Lock, stock, barrel, and one dog at that time. Then it was relocating from Mumbai to Bangalore, quite unknown city for me because son was studying here. So moving from the comfort of Mumbai to Bangalore was the third one, and then most important, making the transition to coaching. So as many friends here know, I discovered coaching as part of my INSEAD program. When I was making the transition. I consider very fortunate, again, divine grace purely, that I found my calling after 2 decades of corporate life, that coaching is what I want to do rest of my life. So, from, that passion, the program ignited kind of also helped me to make these transitions and experiment. Yeah, with, of course, support from family and friends. Uh, During that conversation with my coach at INSEAD, a professional ICF coach who is an MCC now, at that time I think he was a PCC. So once I experienced, I said I want to become a coach. Then what it takes to become a coach. Then the fear set in, right? Will I succeed? See, I worked with just 3 companies in my 2 decades of experience. All three are the big brands in that space, very known and very well known brand in BFSI. So here suddenly I am the brand, right? And with all its limitations in real and at an emotional level. So in one of my coaching conversation, I brought this up. This came up saying that I have this fear of. It's not just fear of failure, right? It's much layered now today when I look back. Like what Bhavani said, fear of transition in the last conversation was magical. Now, long story short, thanks to that coach, he asked me one question, a real powerful question. He said, "You left a brand like ICICI Bank to move to a country like Saudi Arabia, worked with a bank to launch a business there, unknown country, unknown culture, and with great success. So, what is the mindset that you can replicate here to set up your coaching business?" So for me, that was that to experience coaching and make that decision was a penny drop moment. But on the business front, to make that real transition, I think that was a penny drop moment. Thanks to that coach. I said that we didn't go beyond that. I said I got my answer. I'll build on this. Thank you. So it's still the mindset that we keep referring to, right? So that's how. Then rest is history. Yeah, and you all have been grateful to all of you who have been part of this beautiful journey. Yeah, over to you, PK.
Yeah, and
Sure.
look what you've created. Sorry, when I'm like, look what you've created now, right? I mean, I am awed. PK, please, all yours.
Yeah, see, for me, it was a second move that way. The first move happened in 2003
Mhm.
when I left my corporate career at the peak. I was the CEO of an Australian company in India. So that was a move that happened in the month of June 2003 to consulting. And so this is 22nd, 23rd year since I have left a structured environment, and 10 years of consulting, and then now 13 years of coaching. So even now it shows up what you all discussing, Bhavani and Shweta. I know for many coaches, the emotion plays up. Bhavani, you mentioned about spiritual quotient. Subash always mentions that. SQ, along with EQ and IQ. So that is something that people who evolve through internal journeys. For coaches, I felt we need to understand ourselves much better than we did earlier. Um, even if it was a high-ranking role or a good consultant that I was and a successful one at that, still coaching required a lot of self discovery and a spiritual process, or somebody who is on a journey. What it does to you is that it will make you face these uncertainties. You will reframe yourself. That was my experience to answer you, Shweta. You asked me what was the fear factor and how it played out. For me, I wouldn't classify it as fear. I would say it was uncertainty. There was a lot of uncertainty. And it is now even, because as we speak, I am in transition to refine my niche, which I have been, going on with for 12, 13 years of coaching. As we speak now, I am in the midst of revisiting some of the aspects to fine tune it further and to add more value and to do what to do for the rest of my life. In coaching itself, and the broad category of niche is likely to remain the same, but further narrowing it down, further refining it. So, is there a fear? I mean, possibly I wouldn't classify again it as a fear, but I would definitely call it uncertainty. There are a lot of uncertainties with what I am doing currently, or the steps that I am doing currently. So, how do one face it? Chase clarity. I think that is the way. When we are uncertain about something, the immediate thought process is to gain clarity. And once you have clarity, the confidence that you talked about is a byproduct. There is no need to work on confidence. It happens. So, so it is a constant, uncertainty is a constant companion for me always, both in life and at work. Because that's what the kick, that is what the excitement of life is. If we know, then it is like a fixed match. So the outcome shouldn't be known. Otherwise, we won't watch. Even now, the Australia-India match is going on, the women's semi-final. If you know the outcome, who will watch? So that is a way of life that gives me the kick and excitement.
Beautiful. So I just want to quickly, before we start taking audience questions, if anybody has any, please just raise your hands or put them in the comments. We would like you to come forward and ask. I just want to kind of revisit CU and look at how, we spoke about this at CU even when I attended it, the sixth edition. Now I attended the fifth edition. And we spoke about, and I experienced it myself, how we are kind of, like you said, chasing clarity, how we are speeding up the process of chasing clarity. I'm wondering how someone who will make a choice, or we have a great lineup of people already signed up, anybody else who's sitting on the fence, if they choose it. What do you think? What do you think can happen to that confidence, to the chasing clarity? Like, how far can it go? I'm just curious.
See, when you chase clarity, it's about preparation as well. The clarity doesn't happen with sitting quiet or doing nothing. So when you have a requirement and when you need to chase clarity, I intentionally am using the word chase, because when you are chasing something, you are at it. You are preparing yourself. You are preparing better than anyone else. And that preparation is what brings us more clarity. So the fog is the same for everyone. Let me tell you that. It's not that for someone, the fog shows up differently. Or if there is a mountain pass, if you are driving in the hills, the fog is the same for everyone. In that fog, how are you able to see the path ahead is the only question. So that being said, it is about the preparation, Shweta, the way in which you prepare to face the uncertainty and the reality. That is the inner work, as well as understanding and the kind of realization of what to do and what not to do. So for somebody coming to see you, you ask that question. they can figure out what to do and what not to do.
And of course, it's a process. It's not like, since we also talk about 100 days of follow up and support. And as you keep going to the 100 days, and again, like with a person like me, and I think I'm pretty sure Bhavani and a lot of us here who are listening, our targets keep changing, our wants keep increasing. Like, how Bhavani said beautifully when you were chatting earlier, is your want big enough? And my answer, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So you keep growing. It's a process. Subash, is there anything that you'd like to add to this question of what else could change for someone? I know we can get better equipped. Our asks keep getting greater for sure.
So
What
yeah,
would
thank you.
you
I
add?
was about to come in. For me, uh, what you keep referring to, right? Lean into that fear while we're talking about this webinar. So one is there is no escape, as speakers rightly pointed out. Number one. Number two, the best way to lean into that fear or kind of work on that fear is, I think, process. What Shweta just mentioned. Um, Now, both PK and me, we are reasonably successful as coaches. So we know what we're talking about. PK has got this 100-day roadmap. My challenge to anyone who sign up is you stick diligently to that 100-day plan. You'll have to give your soul to it. I mean, don't do it for sake of PK. Do it for yourself. You will succeed. There is no way that you will not succeed. It's as as straightforward as that. But we are the monkey mind comes in the way and it doesn't allow us to do. Yeah. So when we spoke about spiritual quotient, they say even chanting the divine name is also a blessing. Only if there is a blessing, you can stay on the path, right? Like Bhavani, by the way, some of us went to Tiruvannamalai thanks to PK, and Bhavani has continued every month. You think Bhavani can enter anywhere near that space without the divine will? No. Same is the case. If you stick to the 100 days as a process, success will come. And that is the only way to get out of the fear. No other way. Now, what additionally we do to also answer Shweta is we are going to look at coaching competency from chasing mastery, nothing less. So we are going to challenge some of the stuff that you take for granted today as a credential coach, as a coach with good experience. I mean, we are going to challenge you some of what seemingly are ethical and legal point of ICF framework, all in the service of yourself as a coach and thereby your client. Yeah. And finally, unless we are successful as coaches and professionals, we cannot work with these leaders who are already successful because we can only give what we have. So there is no shortcut there. Yeah. So and all this can be succeeded by just following that process. Yeah. Just underlining the process you said.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, PK and Subash. And I feel Bhavani beautifully uh, kind of summed it up at the end, where the surrender and the abundance mindset both go together. The spirituality quotient comes in, and I will just like to add to what you said, that we need to first do it for ourselves, because why did we come to coaching in the first place? Before we want to do it for any leader, before we want to do it for any client, I mean, why wouldn't I do it for myself first, right? That's where the thing comes in. So I'm not going to take more time. We're already at the top of the hour that we decided. I wonder if anyone has any questions. We could take a couple if you have about anything that you might be struggling with right now, anything that you want to ask Subhash, PK, Bhavani, anything that's just going on in your mind right now, because I'm sure there's lots going on as you hear this conversation. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, we can stay around for another 5 minutes, probably.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. So if anybody, what's the process? They have to raise the hand, is it? Or how is it?
They can just come in, unmute themselves, and ask a question. There is no process right now. It's a very spontaneous thing,
Okay.
um, unless there are multiple people and somebody's already talking. So I'm going to stop talking so that you can tell us if you have a question. And if not, then we thank you for being here. Just wait 10 seconds. Radhika says, can you speak a little about the relationship between definitions of courage and fear? Which one of you would like to take it up?
Okay. See, fear is an emotion, definitely. And courage, again, confidence, courage, I would say they are the byproducts of having clarity. I think if you have clarity, then courage comes. Courage without clarity can lead to disaster. And confidence without clarity again can lead to disaster. Adventure can become misadventure. So I would say, yeah, courage is needed for adventure, but most of the people who are doing adventure consciously would be prepared for that. Probably they will be the best to do that amongst the people around. Yeah. So that is the level of preparation even I would suggest here. Because no one is really out of fear, or the fear is an emotion again. Uncertainty is a reality. Uncertainty is a matter of fact. How you respond to that is the question. So when you are working on yourself, when your skills are at mastery level, and when you are clear about what is the way forward looking like according to you, then you will be better placed to face the same uncertainty that is being faced by everyone. That is the only question here, how you face the uncertainty. If you are not prepared or less prepared, you will have anxiety, you will have fear. If you are well prepared, probably you will have courage.
Yeah, I just want to add just one element there on the, and I use the consulting, the word of diagnostic, about knowing whether or not, see, clarity is absolutely paramount. I think this action is another key quotient of courage. I think we always sit with this. I've got clarity. I'm thinking clarity, but no action, and then nothing moves forward. And think, oh God, nothing's happening. So I think the willingness to screw up, the willingness to just do, and it's okay, and like I think that's really important. Childlike mindset of trying, and that is like the pile up of courage that you will get as you do it more and more. It's when the courage comes, like your first video, your first post, your first client chemistry call, your first coaching session, your first product. I mean, they need a childlike mindset to put it out there. I think that I would just add that to the element of courage.
That's brilliant, Bhavani. Just to add, yeah, we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to be, no one seems to be perfect, and perfect definition also is subjective. So if you chase excellence, I think that is what we need to. Are we doing our best at this point in time, rather than chasing perfection?
Yeah,
And
the work that can happen.
that fearlessness only can extend to fearless coaching. If you're not fearless to experiment, how can we coach fearlessly? Then where is the customer mastery? Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Lovely, lovely conversation. Anyone else have any other question? Subashri says, when someone is at the stage of seeking clarity, how does one deal with fear and master the courage?
Yeah, so I think
That's you, right?
I
That's
think I spoke about it earlier. I think fear and courage
yeah.
both can be termed emotions, because emotional response is something, and probably emotions also play in our response in a way. How we can reframe that, how we can shift our mindset from the fear of anything, fear of failure, fear of this, fear of that, fear of social fears, fear of image, whatever it be. Figuring out that probably is one way of approaching it. But instead, if we are reframing it, what is really happening here? Is this uncertainty causing it? And the same uncertainty can cause another emotion called excitement. So it is about our own chemistry, our own, how we tune ourselves to face the same uncertainty. The same waves are, making somebody run from the beach and another fellow to take the board and go and do the surfing.
Yeah.
So it is not about the situation, it is not about the uncertainty, it is about our response to it.
Lovely. And my friend, like I have a friend who says, we have this saying in Hindi. I don't know how much you'll relate to it, but because it's like wo char log kya kahenge, you know, what are those four people going to say? So you know, one day my friend says my mom got so bugged with it that she turned around and said, first you tell me wo char log hain kaun? Who are those four people? You know, you don't even know who those are, but you're constantly worried about, you know, wo char log kya kahenge? So I think there was an Instagram reel also in it, but point being, how PK, you beautifully said, shifting that mindset to and Subhashi, really, trust me, I would say that, and I'll ask Bhavani to share if she feels the same or different, that this is something that happens on its own in those 4 days that you're there. You know, you don't even know that there is that support, there's that warmth, there is that literally, to me, it felt like being held. You know, it felt like being supported. Um, Things that you don't even want to say to others because you have this fear of being judged, there is this space where you can say those things and not be judged for it, and so the clarity can come. And I'm not saying it just to tell you that it's such a great program. It's that space that this program holds and creates, that the participants create, not just the mentors, you know, that the energy of the program creates. And within the environment of nature, the ancient school of wisdom, between 13th and 16th November, if you're free, I would highly recommend that. Go experience it. It's however much somebody tells you it's going to be great, it's going to be this. Like I said, you know, you might not believe it. You have to take that. If your gut tells you to, if it's pulling you, if it's tugging at you, and you are in that space of, what do I do now? You know for sure that you will be held here, is where I'm going to stop. So, Pavani, anything on that?
I think I couldn't have summed it up better, so I'm not going to try. Thank you, Shweta, spot on.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. If there are no other questions, and yes, I will acknowledge Shree's comment also, what Bhavani said, the willingness to fail is a huge element that, you know, you probably get because you have all these amazing people in your life. So thank you. We are grateful to have you in our lives and as part of Regal Alumni. Thank you for being here. Thank you for presence. Thank you for your time. And we will call it a call now. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you very much.